Happy Mother's Day, Comic Geeks. We're a few weeks late here, but this is our tier list video for May, so we are going to be celebrating the best and worst mothers across all of comics. We're talking DC, we're talking Marvel, and we are talking indies. We have all your favorite mothers and the ones that you despise, ready to go into a beautifully numbered list. Jay, would you like to take us through our tiers here?
Yes. So at the very top, at the cream of the crop, we have your super moms. Underneath that, we have the adopt me tier for those mothers. Like, yeah, that would be a good mother to have. Then we've got trying her best in the third tier for those mothers who, they're trying, but maybe they're stumbling in some places.
Yeah.
In the fourth tier, we have too real. So maybe they're kind of a sucky mother, but they're still like a realistically sucky mother.
Yeah.
In that fifth tier, we have gave birth, because that's about all they did for their kids. And then in the sixth and worst tier, we have calling CPS, which is, for those mothers where I think it's pretty self-explanatory, we have to call Child Protective Services on them.
Where they have done something worse than nothing at all.
Yes.
Yes, and
which
we
I think
have
far too many of these have.
Yeah. We have a whole bunch of mothers to rank, so we are going to start off strong with, I think, the mother of the entire comic book universe. We are looking at Martha Kent, Ma Kent. Jay,
Yes.
Where does Martha Kent belong?
I think you kind of nailed it. I think Martha Kent is kind of like the benchmark for comic book mothers, right? Like she is known to be this fantastic mother. She's obviously so incredibly important to Kal-El turning into Clark Kent and Superman. So I think Martha Kent belongs in the supermom tier if anybody does.
I'm not gonna lie, I kind of disagree.
Really?
I think that the problem is that she doesn't often get the chance to go above and beyond being like a the perfect mother, Like she doesn't get the chance to really go that extra mile. Like she helps him in his childhood, and that's obviously very important, and that's really beautiful and wonderful. But I feel like
but
even
she also,
more than
adopts Connor too. Like you've got the Connor mother figure too.
That is fair,
that's another one.
That's fair.
Another one.
And I'm sure she's a great grandmother to John as well. But I feel like she might be
grandmother doesn't count.
Mom.
We're only going mother here. Cut that.
Well, then I'm glad that I didn't include my Granny Goodness picture because I almost put her in.
Wow.
I
guess that speaks to what is the criteria here? Like, what is our criteria?
That's fair.
Like, is it basically that the only issue would be that she's too perfect? It doesn't get, but that would then be a pretty great mom, right?
I mean, that is fair, and I guess through childhood, that's the thing, through childhood I feel like she's super mom, but then once, she doesn't really have a place as, she kind of did her work.
That's why I brought up, the Connor thing, because I feel like that, for a while, that was kind of their role that they got. They had, Connor, very... obviously now, modern times, I do think they kind of don't get much to do.
Yeah. I might have just been being a little contrarian. We can definitely put Martha Kent in super
I was not expecting you to be contrarian. I felt like you teed me up for it. It felt like you teed me up for it, just to then, spank me down.
That's right. Spank you. It's a mother episode. All right, but next up is, I think, the other mother to the comic book universe.
Yes. The other big two. Yeah, the other big two one.
It's hard to argue with Aunt May. She is, I feel, someone who is there for Peter throughout his entire life. I think that the death of Uncle Ben gives her a little bit of extra staying power, because then he has to, process that, and then she becomes the only family that he has left. I think she's another easy super mom. And despite the fact that I think she should go technically, yes, ahead of Martha, I don't think that it is a competition. I think they are just they are together.
Could you have went any more cliche? There's not a competition, except she's higher.
Look, it's fine. It's because I like her better. I feel like she gets to be a little spunkier, especially modern.
I agree with you. I think she has a better role, but I think she's in a similar place where, I feel like at this point, because of, despite the fact that they don't let Spider-Man progress quite as much as Superman is allowed to progress, he still has progressed past like living with Aunt May. So like
right.
she also, I think, is one where like her role's a little bit tougher in modern comics. But
yeah. With older superheroes.
But up next we have wow, I think maybe the other side of the spectrum here.
Yeah.
We have Jason Todd's mother.
We have Jason Todd's mother, Sheila Haywood. Jay, where are you putting her?
Is there a character that is more legitimately you should call CPS on them than Jason Todd's mother?
No.
She lured him to his fucking death!
On purpose. Insanity. Yeah,
Well,
she is the...
I don't know that you could be a shittier mother than
There's
she
a
is.
reason that I put the 3 of these mothers first.
Like, she might be just legitimately the worst mother physically possible.
Yeah, like, not only does she abandon
not even
him,
like not even like supervillain, not even like obviously father and son, not even like Trigon level, like supervillain, just like legitimately a piece of shit towards their kid.
Like it's not even like she has greater dreams of world conquest or something.
Exactly. Like there's no like, I don't know, like comic bookiness to take the edge off there. Like there's no evil villain that happens to be related to you. Like, we get that. Like, no.
Yeah.
No. You don't get that.
She abandons him in his youth to live on the streets and then makes contact with him again to lure him into a trap set by the Joker so they can both get blown up.
Yeah.
Insane. But now we have another turn here, at least so I'm told. I have only read the first 3 volumes of Invincible, and I already love Debbie Grayson. But Jake, you've read everything.
I've read everything.
Tell me, where does Debbie land in this lineup?
I think Debbie Grayson is a phenomenal mother. I think the show maybe like bumps her extra up in some people's mind because I think she gets a little bit more in the show, especially like in her mother role. That like really makes her be like, oh my god, this outstanding mother. She's a great mother. She's really, I think, what she needs to be for Mark. But I feel like for a large portion of like the back half of the series, her being Mark's mother kind of becomes kind of a secondary thing for her, and it isn't really like, I don't feel like that relationship gets quite as much as it does in the front half. I still think she's a great mother. I don't know, she might still be Supermom tier, but I kind of want like diversity because I don't know how many. I'm between Adopt Me and Supermom. I think she might be just Adopt Me because there's a lot of issues that she's in and a lot of the comic that she's in that I don't think she's mother. And there's like, I'm trying not to spoil things for you because we're really reading the book. Yes. There's one thing that she does that I think, in my opinion, would disqualify her from being Supermom.
I support this because I also think that it is very tough to be in a league with Martha Kent and Aunt May.
I think she's not. She makes a decision, which while I think is a valid decision in the comic book, a big decision that I do think like puts her momness down a tier.
Sure. Yeah. So I would still like to be adopted by her. Throw her in that tier.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, I don't want to be adopted by this one. This is Talia al Ghul.
Yes.
Damian Wayne's mother.
Who grew him in
Batman's sperm.
And then grew him in a little pit.
Yeah, and then trained him as a ninja assassin for the first 8 to 10 years of his life.
Yeah, without telling his father that he existed. Was it 8 to 10 years? I feel like it was not that long. Anyway, how long was he actually alive for?
A little bit.
I think he was alive for like 4 or 5 years technically before Batman got him. Because you remember he was grown artificially fast.
Oh yes, right, yeah.
Because I think that just backs up the kind of shittiness of it. He was grown like artificially fast and then dumped back on Batman without being told, who was never told that he was his father. Oh man. Love that.
But we have seen so many storylines where Talia's motivation is her love of Damian. She's not great at loving people. So it's not necessarily the best vibe. But honestly, I feel like it earns her a 2 real.
I think it's
she has complicated motivations.
Because she didn't really give birth to him. So,
Jesus fucking Christ. I think she deserves the 2 real tier.
I think you're right because it is very real in the sense of like she cares about him enough to look out for him, but basically every decision she has ever made around him is incredibly shitty.
Yes. Even though she thinks it's the right decision and what is best for him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
She's just bad at knowing what's right.
Yes.
But next on the
League of
list
Assassins will do that to somebody.
Speaking of assassins, next on the list is Lady Shiva. We've been reading the recent Batgirl series, which focuses a lot on her relationship with Cass.
Yeah.
I feel like she still just gave birth.
Yeah, she feels like a stereotypical gave birth, right? Like she kind of
That's her whole deal. She gave birth, and like now they're doing a little bit of expansion with it, but most of the time when she meets Cass, it's just so she can like beat her in a fight and say, you should be better. And it's like, Jesus Christ, Shiva, what the fuck?
Yeah, and it feels like even in Shiva's mind, even when like you have like the greater thing, it feels like to Shiva, it's still just because she gave birth to her. Like it feels like to Shiva, it's just kind of the biological factor of her being her daughter, you know?
Yeah.
Like they don't really have that like, you raised me, mom. You know, like that's not the relationship there. So
not
I
at
think
all.
that this is the correct tier for sure.
Agreed.
But we got to a mother that I don't know either one of us has a lot of experience with.
I think you and I have the exact same experience with her as a mother.
Yeah.
But I'd be remiss not to include Sue Storm, Sue Richards, if you will, on the list. I think she's generally regarded as a pretty darn good mother.
I think people like her, and in the one run that we read, I thought she was a pretty good mother in that one little run. I do, you know, they see, from what I'm aware of, I think they put their kids in a lot of dangerous situations.
They sure do. But also,
she's trying her best.
I think it is really tough to be a main character and a mother.
Yes,
because you inherently, as the main character, have to be focused on. Whereas I think a lot of the hallmarks of a good mother are that they place the focus on their offspring. So I think trying her best works. Yeah. And I'm not gonna lie, this isn't necessarily her fault. In fact, I'd wager it's mostly Reed's fault. Her kids are weird. Like, she raised some weird kids.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. But let us, if you read more Fantastic Four, please let us know what you would have ranked Invisible Woman.
Yes,
Sue Storm.
we are truly not qualified to talk about Sue Storm as a mother. But she's trying her best. We know that for sure.
For Lois Lane coming up.
Yes.
Next
good old Lois.
On the list. Yeah. I don't remember who's. Do you want to talk first on this one?
Sure. I am very biased because I love Lois Lane. I'm going to start off with saying that. I think she's a great mother. I think she goes through a lot of incredibly unique things as a mother, raising a super child.
Who's artificially, or I guess not, passed through time. How was he artificially aged up? It was in a weird way.
That was later, though. I think he was a true baby boy at one point.
No, he was. No, but they missed a lot of years of development there.
But that's not Lois's fault. She is always such a good partner. She is such a cute mom, and I feel like one of the things that I think is such a hallmark, and one of the reasons that I was being a little like, ooh, with Sue, is she raised such a good kid. Like, the proof is in the pudding with how Jonathan Kent is and acts and carries himself through the world. Like, of course, he's Superman's son, so like, what?
So he's a little boring.
Here's the thing, I think he's boring in the exact same way that Superman can be boring. And it's like, that's not... I think that he's a lot more fun when he's younger. Is the big thing.
Fully. Absolutely.
And I would point out, that is the John that Lois raised, and then he went away to Space Grandpa and came back boring. Which is just a testament to Lois's raising of him.
There you go. You know, you sold me.
Perfect. I would put her in Adopt Me.
Yeah, I don't have quite as much because I haven't read a ton of Jonathan stuff, so I don't have quite as much of a mothering experience. I think that from what I read,
she can go below Debbie.
Yeah,
that's fair.
They both raised, you know, sons of Superman, or Superman analogs. So
that is very funny that they're in the same tier, right next to each other. Because they're both doing a great job.
Played it out. Yeah,
like they're trying their best and they're doing
good,
great.
Clean cut. Well, I guess Mark isn't the most clean. At some point, clean cut superheroes.
Avoid your spoilers, dude.
You know how well known Invincible is for intense, gruesome violence. I feel like
I don't know that Mark commits it. But we are moving right along to another iconic mom of the Marvel Universe. We have Rio Morales.
Yes. This is
now a lot of my experience with Rio comes from the Spider-Verse movies and the Spider-Man PlayStation TV games.
So mine is those plus the old what was it? I can't remember the name of the TV show that did Spider-Verse before Spider-Verse, but I don't think his mother's even in that for very long. So probably more Spider-Verse movie anyway. But that's I do not have a ton of experience with this character. That being said, she seems like a fairly decent mother, you know? She seems like she's doing her best by Miles, you know? I don't know tons about her, but she doesn't seem like a bad mother.
I think that she's got a lot going for her. I'm a little biased because she gets a lot of focus in the PlayStation game, which very much endeared me to her. And the way that she's portrayed, especially in Across the Spider-Verse, is such great mothering as well. I
really don't remember her doing much in Across the Spider-Verse, but I do not remember that movie super well.
She does such a great job at it. It's so great. Like, she and Miles have their whole conversation when he's trying to, like, go out with Gwen, and when he's, like, chasing after Gwen so that he can follow her into the verse. Oh my god. So good. I feel like...
Okay, big fan.
I think she's great. I think that the fact that she does a lot of, like... I feel like she has a lot going on for herself as well, like whether that's her work as a nurse, which is very like mom coded, or her work as a politician, which is also very mom coded. She's got a lot going on, and I think that maybe she doesn't go all the way up to adopt me, but I think that she beats out Sue for me, if only just because of mere exposure.
I'll give you whatever you want here. I'm happy.
We can put her in the top of trying her best.
All right.
Because I think that's similar to what I was saying with Ma Kent. Like, there's a certain point where, what are you doing as a mother anymore, right? Like, you're mentoring, but Miles also goes through a lot of his, like, spider stuff, either on his own or with a spider mentor instead of, like, Superman having to rely on his mom.
Yeah. Though to be fair, I will say that is certainly heavily adaptation influenced, as I do think he goes through it on his own in the comic books originally. So, you know.
Yeah, but I don't. What I'm saying is he either goes through it on his own or with a spider. Okay. He doesn't go through it like with his mom, like the way that Martha is raising a kid who's got lasers coming out of his eyes.
Read the original Miles stuff, so who knows how important his mom is.
That's fair. You know what? That's fair. If you've read the original Miles run or any Miles run, because we have not. Let us know how great of a mother is Rio Morales.
Or did she die along with the universe? And
does she exist?
Does she exist right now?
She exists. We'll find out. We're gonna find out in Ultimate Spider-Man.
Yes, this coming week.
This coming week. Be sure to check out our regularly Wednesday episode.
Absolutely.
But we have one more DC mom to tackle here, and this is Hippolyta, Queen of the Amazons, mother of Wonder Woman.
Yeah, I have to say, before we get into this, I really thought you were going to put Cersei from Absolute Wonder Woman on here.
I truly thought about it, but then I was like, we literally have 6 issues of her being a mom.
Yeah.
And it's so effective that I literally was like, oh, she's so iconic, but I was like, I don't know. Maybe she doesn't count as iconic quite yet.
I feel like Hippolyta is I feel like Hippolyta is one of those characters that has been, like, heavily
interpreted and reinterpreted.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. She's so different, even in different appearances within main DC continuity. You know, like, I feel like she's been...
The entire New 52 Hippolyta was really all over the place, I think.
Yeah. So I feel like Hippolyta's been very all over the place, which makes her kind of tough to rate. I will say, I think one of the hallmarks of her, though, is, like, a protectiveness of Diana, which I feel like is a good motherly trait. So I feel like that being, like, the one thing that seems fairly consistent is, I think, a mark in her favor. But I feel like the inconsistency in her character is going to keep me from putting her too high.
That's super fair. I think that she also gets a lot of the benefit of looking at how the character turned out and the character like attributing that to how they were raised. So like
I do think
Diana
some of it though
attributes
is
a lot of
also in
herself.
spite of Hippolyta, right? Because some of it is Diana kind of
breaking out, breaking away
exactly.
rather. Yeah.
But weirdly, isn't there? I believe, just to throw it out, I believe in Mark Waid's new History of the DC Universe, he's going to be doing some retconning so that Hippolyta is the original Wonder Woman of World War II. So maybe now it'll be even more because of her mother,
even more confusing.
Her mother. I told you,
God, what happens
all
to
over
Steve
the place.
Trevor?
She has one of the most all over the place characters in DC.
I think the fact that she is protective and instills like
she's certainly not going in the lower half. I think is
I think that she should go in the bottom of trying her best.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
Now we have a bit of a rapid fire round. Because
the book you have not read more than one volume of.
That's what I'm saying. I have not read. I've read 2 volumes, bitch. We read 2.
Sorry, you're right. I'm sorry. I apologize.
So the reason this is rapid fire is because it's just going to be Jay ranking them because I have no input.
Okay.
So Jay, you have to go so quick here. Carol from The Walking Dead.
Carol's tough. Carol, I think tries her best for a while, but then commits suicide and abandons her kid. So, we're gonna go probably too real. That's a little too real in the apocalypse. Giving up.
That is a little too real in the apocalypse. All right, so, Laurie Grimes. Oh God,
I don't like Laurie that much.
Ooh.
Rick is such a good father. Like Rick is, in my opinion, the greatest father in comic books. I fucking love Rick. Laurie. I mean, maybe one of Laurie's things that she only really does care about is her kids, but she does a lot wrong by. Oh, she's a little rough. I don't know. I don't. She's probably. I'm going there. I'm going top of Gabe Bird.
It's nice of you to put her above Lady Shiva.
This is probably a little too mean, and is maybe also a little colored by the show Laurie being even worse than the comic book Laurie. But this is what we're doing.
That's what we're doing. All right, now I've been told by Jay that this one's a little controversial because it's perhaps more informed by the show than the comics, as in completely informed by the show rather than the comics. This is Rosita.
That we were talking about Michonne when we were talking about that, but yeah.
Oh, I thought you said that she did not. Rosita did not have a child in the.
I can't remember. I think she. I said Michonne was absolutely, I think, more colored by the show in talking about like her attachment to Carl. But Rosita, yeah, I can't really remember her. I said to Katie, I was like, did she adopt somebody? Because a lot of people adopt people in like the later stages of The Walking Dead. But seeing as I can't really remember her being much of a mom, I'm gonna put her here because she didn't. I don't think she committed suicide and noped out around her kids. So I feel like that's where we're going.
There you go.
That's where we're going.
And then we have very much colored by the show. I've been informed, but also technically a mother. Michonne.
We'll talk about show. I'd go here. Like, Show Michonne is an amazing, amazing mother figure for Carl. Really, really fantastic. I do like the show Michonne. I do like the comic book Michonne. I don't really think she's really Carl's mother. I think that's more Andrea's role. But she's still definitely, I think, a good person in Carl's life. So we'll go here.
Because she's not really trying. She's not trying to be his mother.
She's not trying, but she's real. She's a very real character. Yeah. And her original kid, from what I know, she was a good mother to her original kid before her partner got her kid killed. So
Well, that's good. That's good. And now the last Walking Dead rapid fire round here is Maggie.
So Maggie's tough because Maggie's definitely a good mother. But also we get a time jump at the very end, and Maggie post time jump is a crappy mother. But that's one issue. So how much am I going to let that color it? I'm going to say I think Maggie tries her best. So we're going to do that. That's what we're going to do.
Okay. Love it. Thank you for participating in this rapid fire Walking Dead rating round. Are you a Walking Dead fan? Please tell us where you would have put these zombie apocalypse mothers down below.
Get mad at me, if somebody's gonna be like, Michonne is clearly Carl's mother figure in the comics, and I'm gonna be like, he calls Andrea his mother in the comics. He calls her mom.
Jay is already ready to fight. But
I'm
now we're
ready
going
to
to move
fight. Boy.
into perhaps a less iconic realm, but mothers who I think Jay and I have a connection to.
Yeah.
They're
And we're
from
about
books
to
that we both quite like.
kind of end our journey with this mother this coming week. You
I'm
know,
gonna
the
cry.
series about
Don't
to
say
end.
that.
Yeah.
But we are going with Sam from The Moon is Following Us, mother of Penny.
Yeah,
Wife
I
of
like
Duncan.
Sam clearly willing to do a lot for her daughter. You know, like,
and I think she's willing to change for her daughter, which is also
yeah,
cute.
that's true. That's true. We don't get. I mean, the tough thing here is we don't actually get like
The mothering.
like she's being a mother in the sense that obviously everything she's doing throughout the entire series is for her daughter, but we don't get to see her like with her daughter
We
in
do
that
get
like
a number of flashbacks.
we do get a few flashbacks, but they're very short. I feel like this is one where I think she deserves to be an Adopt Me, but also like I feel like in terms of just like the names of the things, I feel like the name of the game is her and Duncan.
I want you to know when I came up with the name of the Trying Her Best tier, I was like, that's Sam. I think she goes at the very top of Trying Her Best.
I just feel like compared to these like some of these mobs, I do feel like she maybe deserves. But we'll go at top of Trying Her Best, especially if she only got a 10-issue run. So I think
Exactly.
Well,
next on the list is someone who Jay. Yeah, someone who Jay does not know. I've considered over the past weeks whether or not I should make What's the Furthest Place from Here a Strange Saturday pick. But I think it's something that really benefited from me binge reading 3 volumes of it together. So I'm like, I don't think I'm going to make Jay read 3 volumes of something. Even though it is a quick read.
Even though I made you do that with Invincible.
Yes, I think I volunteered and asked to do it with Invincible.
Yeah, that's true.
But Sid is a mother. She is a child in this apocalypse where theoretically, people are dying once they reach adulthood. But she's clearly pregnant, but doesn't know what pregnancy is because there are no adults to tell her what that is. She is, for the first 2 volumes, I would say trying her best because she doesn't even know what's going on. She doesn't even know that she's pregnant. But then we get to
does she have the kid at any point in this?
Yes, and that's what I was going to say. I'm talking around it a little bit because I still might ask if you want to read it, just because I think that it's incredibly strange. I think that once she actually becomes a mom, once she meets her baby, I think that she goes into like immediate mother mode. Like she immediately understands the assignment and immediately does everything she can to help her child. The downside she has is that she hasn't had the baby for very long. So I would actually maybe put her between Maggie and Sue in trying her best. I think that she has the potential to get up there. But I think that she, more so than being an iconic mother, may at this point just be an iconic pregnant woman.
That's why I was asking the question, because I was like, if she doesn't give birth, I don't know if she
exactly. But when she does give birth, she goes nutso on being a good mom.
That's why I felt the need to clarify. Because I was like,
but I think it's also a type of thing where like how good a mom is so much more than how she treats her baby, you know? Like it's as that kid starts to grow that you get a lot of the like adopt me and supermom tears. But next up we have a really wonderful mother. This would be Delia Hack. Cassie Hack's mother from the Hack Slash series, who just, if you remember this, was she was a lunch lady at Cassie's school, chopped up her classmates to make into schoolgirl soup, tried to kill Cassie, and literally became a monstrous slasher. I still think that Sheila Haywood is worse.
I agree, because this is what we're talking about, where like she has the like comic booky edge of like straight up evil monster. But
and then
obviously you're calling CPS on a slasher mother.
Let's try to slash her daughter. Next up we have one of my personal faves. We have Ryder from Ain't No Grave. This is another one kind of like Sam, where we see a lot of what she's trying to do for her daughter, and then we get some isolated flashbacks where we see mother.
Maybe hot take you here. She's doing it for herself. If she was doing it for her daughter,
she
would have been there and spent that final time with her daughter instead of
fair.
Going off on a journey, which I feel like is a too real situation, you know?
Exactly.
Where like she's not fully grasping her emotions. She was a good mother to her kid for a while, left her past behind, but then in her final moments kind of succumbed to it in this battle of like, I'm going to defeat death instead of, you know, staying with her family who wanted her to stay there. So I think
I would put her just after Talia. Because at least when she killed herself, she didn't do it in front of her daughter.
That's fair. You know, that tracks.
All right, and our final mother is, again, a recent indie darling for us. This is Vicky, Teresa's mom from Minor Arcana.
She's a horrible, horrible mother.
A horrible mother. I feel like she's the epitome of too real, though.
She is in, like, the words, but she is so bad as a too real mother. Like, she's not a too real mother in like she has like her pros and cons. She's a too real mother in like she is such a real embodiment of a horrible mother. You know,
that's
like
so fair. That's an incredibly good
like the dialogue feels so real. Her criticisms of her daughter feel so real. Her like disregard for her daughter trying to take care of her is so real. Her putting her own like business and her own wants above her daughter's is so real. But she has no redeeming qualities like the other two real mothers, you know?
Only given birth, and that is what makes her a mother.
Exactly, exactly.
And provided Teresa with an amazing grandpa, but she didn't really do that on purpose. Happens.
No, that's kind of inevitable.
I love grandpa. Next month we're doing a grandpa tier list. It's Father's Day in June.
We have to do a Father's tier list first so that I can talk about
too many. There's too many. All right. But that takes us to the end of our tier list here. We have, in the Supermom tier, as it stands, Aunt May and Martha Kent. Jay, do you think anyone should move into Supermom?
No, I'm fairly happy with that.
That's so fair. That's so fair. Is there anyone you think should move around?
Yeah, I've convinced myself just through like thinking over the thing that I was knocking her down for. I think Debbie should be below Lois.
Okay. Okay, I'm here for that.
Is my personal thought that I had. My other one, I think that maybe I was a little
hard on Lori.
Yeah, like she actually does do a better job. You know?
Who died literally with her new baby in her arms as she went to flee.
Yeah, I was a little harsh just because I don't really like the character. So we'll do that.
That's fair. That's fair. That's very fair. I feel like this.
And now I made a penis.
I was gonna say it's very funny on our group of moms that we have in fact made a dick chart. But I'm happy with how the dick chart looks.
It's necessary to create, you know.
There you go. There you go. I don't know how Talia got Bruce's sperm, but it didn't have to come from his dick.
It did though.
It didn't. Do we know exactly how she got it?
Yeah, she drugged him and then raped him.
Yeah, but like, I don't know that we see on screen her like extracting.
Because she didn't extract. They had it like the way that she was impregnated was natural. She just then moved him.
Extracted.
Yeah.
Oh, Talia, you absolute freak. I'm trying to think of anyone else on here.
This conversation is so often.
You know what? At the very top, Aunt May, unnecessary to have a penis to be an amazing mother.
That's true. That's true.
Amazing. All right, but this is
actually also not both of the Supermoms. Actually,
you're right. Maybe that's the trick. Don't have your child biologically, and you'll be a Supermom.
Yeah.
But that is our final form for this chart. So, Jay, starting with Supermom, we have Aunt May and we have Martha Kent, who is in the Adopt Me tier.
In the Adopt Me tier, we have Lois Lane and Debbie Grayson.
That's right. In the Trying Her Best tier, we have Sam from The Moon Is Following Us. We have Rio Morales, Sue Storm, Sid from What's the Furthest Place from Here, Maggie from The Walking Dead, and Hippolyta.
In Too Real, We have Michonne from The Walking Dead. We have Talia al Ghul. We have what's
That's Ryder.
Ryder from Ain't No Grave. We have Rosita. We have Lori, and we have Carol, all from The Walking Dead. It really is The Walking Dead tier now.
It really is. It really is. Because it would be too real in The Walking Dead, wouldn't it?
It would be. It would be.
In the gave birth tier, we have Vicky from Minor Arcana, and of course, Lady Shiva.
And in calling CPS, we have what's her name again? It's
Delilah.
Delilah from Hack Slash, and we have Jason Todd's mother, which I also do not remember the name of.
Sheila Haywood.
There you go.
Gotcha.
And that's our full tier list in the shape of a penis. Yeah. Fully intentionally.
Happy Mother's Day to all of the comic book moms out there, even though it is now June. And thanks so much for tuning in. Catch us every Wednesday for our regularly scheduled program where we go through our polls for the week, and every weekend for a bonus episode of some silly sort.
Where we talk about Debbie Grayson in
That's right.
Invincible this past
I do immediately simp for Debbie.
There you go. But as always, we hope to see you next week, Comic Geeks.